Welcome back, everybody.
And we're back. And I won't plant corn in that field anymore.
So we were just talking about 9/11 and how you were a secret agent.
Yes, something like that. did work for the CIA at the time, the Central Intelligence Agency, not the Culinary Institute of America. And amazingly, because I was 19, they recruited from our engineering school to get people early. And this one's hard to explain to people. So I went to a co-op school, they call them, and it's a school where you work for, or you go to school for a time frame, but you also work for a time frame, and it's to, for one, help you pay for tuition, because you're not allowed to have the people who were co-op employers. You have to pay the students. It's not like a free internship. And you would do it to get experience while you were at college, as well as earn money for tuition. So every 3 months, I was at school for a 3-month term, and then I went to work for a 3-month term, and I went to school for a 3-month term, and then I went to work for a 3-month term.
So I've heard about this, but I didn't realize it was like that. That's weird.
Yeah, it was very different. It was really cool. Like, I wish more colleges did that now that I'm back on what that education was compared to further educations I've had. Like, going to nursing school full-time when I didn't have a job for, I was a dual or a second degree program, so it was only a year and a half for me, but just full-time school with no ability to make any income, and you're not really doing anything except sitting in classrooms. Like, granted, you have clinicals and stuff during nursing school, but it's not the same as like working a job. It's a really amazing experience. But one of my co-op employers for a big chunk of my schooling was the Central Intelligence Agency. And as a co-op student, so the way the government works is you have your different colored badges determine what kind of employee you were. And a blue badger is what they called them, for the people whose badges backgrounds are blue, and you were a full-time employee or a co-op student with full top secret security clearance. If you were an intern, you were what was called a gray badger, because you only had up to secret security clearance, I think is all you got, and you usually weren't considered a full-fledged employee. Whereas as a co-op student, I was considered a full-fledged employee, even though I was only there for 3 months at a time. And then you have your green badgers, which are contractors, which might be full-fledged employees, but they're like through a contracting company, but they still work for the CIA, so they might have all the good clearances. But to tell people that I was a co-op student, but I was still like a full-fledged person with top secret security clearance, like, they don't quite necessarily get that, but either way. So yes, that is where I was at during the 9/11 attacks, as I was working for the CIA out here in the DC area when I was 19 years old. But it got us talking about polygraphs. Is where it really all came to, right?
Yeah, but I want to say real quick, when you're talking about the badges, I imagine that y'all just there was like a hat on day one, and everyone got to pull a badge out of the hat, and that's how you found out like how color you were going to be.
You're like, will you be a full-fledged employee or not? Oh, better luck next round.
So you had top secret security clearance. What was the
Correct.
process on getting that? I know we were talking about polygraph, but now I'm kind of curious about this.
So polygraph is part of it, is a big part of it, but a lot of it was, turn all these on. There was a big background check that you had to fill out, it's like 12 pages of fill in the blanks of everywhere you've lived in the last 7 years, every job you've had in the last 7 years, anybody who you have had contact with that is not an American citizen in the past 7 years. It's just pages and pages and pages of stuff. And it gets really interesting because it's actually supposed to be the last 7 years or up until your 18th birthday. So in theory, since I was only 19 when I started working there, I only had to go back a year, but they said that wasn't enough, that I should still go back 7 years.
Wow, so whenever you were 11.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to, little 11-year-old?
When I was 11, it was interesting. But I mean, they got really nitpicky, and it really depended on the background investigator that they had working your case on how they could get through some of these things. One of the things that came up as a flag on one of my applications, because I worked for the CIA as a co-op student for a while, and then I tried to get a job back there as a full-time employee and couldn't get hired because I couldn't pass the polygraphs again. And that's why we'll get into the polygraph stuff in a minute. But when I was applying and redoing all this paperwork for trying to get a job full-time after I graduated college, the there was a discrepancy that came up as a red flag that my background investigator had to go over with me and get to the bottom of. But luckily, he was a smart enough guy, and he goes, I know exactly why this is a red flag. I just need to get the wording from you to make sure it's like all accounted for. He's like, you stated that your last day at blah, blah, blah job you had was February 1st of, 2002 or whatever it was. And I was like, yeah. He's like, according to their official records, your last day was February 13th. So why the discrepancy? And I was like, what? And he's like, I'm assuming that your documentation was just estimating because you didn't know the exact date that you left the place, right? And I was like, well, yeah. And he goes, okay, he's like, I figured that, but it came up as an official red flag on my application that had to be examined. A 13-day window of my last day had to be examined to that scrutiny.
So, do you think that had you lied about, like, contacts you had with, like, let's say you had met with, I don't know, let's just say, like, some Russians, do you think you would have lost your security clearance?
Well, in theory, I didn't have it at that point. So
right, but I mean,
applied,
once you got it, like, once you actually did achieve your tops.
If they find out, like, because then you're supposed to do them every between 3 and 5 years to get, like, your, take polygraphs again and get your security clearance, like, re-updated. And yeah, you could definitely lose your security clearance for lying about that stuff if they find out that you lied about any of that. I never got to the point of trying to renew my security clearance.
Right, so you failed a polygraph, and then you couldn't work, basically?
I've taken in my life 7 polygraphs. I've passed one of them.
Wow. Why are you such a liar?
Exactly, that's what they kept asking me. I absolutely do not believe in those machines. I completely understand why they are not admissible in court. It's very interesting setup because not only is it nerve-wracking to take, it's not like they don't purposely make it nerve-wracking like you see in the the movies and all with the bright lights in your face and all that stuff. It's not like that, but you are hooked up to not only something reading your pulse ox and your heart rate off of your finger. There's a blood pressure cuff that you have on you that inflates periodically throughout the questioning for them to get readings on that. And you also have these 2 black tubes that go across, one's on your chest and one's on your stomach, that looks at your breathing patterns. And I think that I've been told by some people that in different organizations that do like harder security clearance stuff, they do have ones that like look at your eyes. But the processes that I took didn't have the ones that looked at your eyes. But the question set that they will give you, you are always going to answer no. Like if they ask you, have you done drugs? Your answer is always going to be no, because otherwise, if you've done drugs and you just say yes, you're not lying. It might not pick it up that way, but they're not going to have the information that they need. So what they're always going to do is you're going to talk about it off of the polygraph, and you're going to talk to them about all the times in your life that you've ever done something, like you've done drugs or committed any crimes or anything like that.
I don't understand what you're saying right now, though. I'm confused.
So they're going to talk to you. There's a time when you're on the polygraph machine, and there's a time when you're off the polygraph machine when you're still talking and answering questions.
Okay.
When you're on the polygraph machine, what they're going to do is they're going to say, besides what we've discussed, have you ever done drugs? So your answer is always going to be no. The truthful answer should always be the answer no.
Right, because you've already discussed the things that you did wrong.
You're going to discuss it with them. And part of passing the polygraph stage isn't per se about passing just the polygraph, but it's them if I told them that, yeah, I do drugs today, I'm like hooked on heroin, I'm going to get on the polygraph machine and say, no, not besides what we've discussed, no. Just because that's the right answer and that I'm not lying, and even if I pass the test that says I'm telling the truth, you're still going to probably fail that phase as somebody that they're not going to allow into the organization.
Right, because you're a heroin addict, right.
Yeah, based on the information that you give. So, but if they start getting sensitivity around questions, they will then expand the question set out to try to delve in on exactly where that quote unquote sensitivity is surrounding. So a polygraph can take 20 minutes for some people. They can literally go in there, they get the base set of answers, they get the base set of questions, they blow through it. The test shows that they're not really having sensitivity to any areas, and they're done in 20 minutes. But there's a 3-hour maximum that they'll give you when you're doing them for like the hiring process that I was going through. And all of mine took 3 hours, except for the one I think I passed. They all took 3 hours. We had to constantly go into 2 specific areas. It was always about drugs, crimes. They kept saying that I had all the sensitivity around those areas, and they couldn't get me to tell them why I have all the sensitivity around these areas.
Wow.
It was really hard, too, when I was 19 and got the job the first time. At the time, I had never even smoked marijuana in my life. I had not done drugs at all. But I completely openly admitted to them that I was a drinker. And they're like, you're admitting to us that you drink and you are underage. Why won't you just admit that you're doing drugs? I'm like, I didn't. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but I didn't do any drugs. And so I did 2 polygraphs for my first set of interviews. They bring you down for like 3 days for all these interviews. And they give you the opportunity to take 2 polygraphs. And the second one is only for if you need it. I needed it. And I still failed. 6 months later, they called me back. I don't know why, because they don't do this for many people. It's not like I petitioned or anything like that. They just called me 6 months later and said, hey, we want to give you another chance at the polygraph. Will you let us fly you back to DC to take another polygraph? And I didn't want the job anymore at this point because I was so angry with the whole process. So. And I said, fine, if you're gonna fly me out to DC, what the hell? I'll take a trip out to DC. And I came in and sat down and went through this polygraph. I didn't have a care in the world because I was like, fuck this thing. I'm just here for a vacation. And I got done in about 30 minutes with my polygraph. And the guy who was doing it looks at me and goes, I don't know what you did wrong the other times. He's like, but that was perfect.
Do you think you just cared too much the first time?
I think it was just that I got nervous. I think it was that I mean,
that's all it's really testing anyways, is like changes in your body, right?
Yeah, and that's probably the reason that they're not like acceptable in a court of law. They're actually trying to outlaw them for hiring practices as well.
Because it's such a weird thing that even exists whenever it's so unreliable. Like, there's like a former FBI guy that teaches people how to cheat them, right?
So, yes, and I've read some of the books on cheating them, not because I was trying to cheat them, but because I wanted to understand.
Because you're such a heroin addict.
Because I was such a heroin addict. Because I was trying to understand, like, what it is that was wrong. And this is where it gets different with cheating the test versus with getting hired, having it as part of your hiring practices. Is most things that I understand about quote-unquote cheating a polygraph basically just make it so that the results are inconclusive. It's not that it shows that you're telling the truth when you're really lying. It's that it shows that it's an inconclusive result. Basically, I think it comes down to you basically fuck up your baseline questions a lot in a way that it's going to think that you're even lying on your baseline questions. Because they ask you questions that they know the answers to get a baseline. Like, is your name...
So if they can't get a baseline, right.
Yeah, or like there's weird things like that. And in a court of law, it's different to say you failed the polygraph first. Because, they'll still use, even though they're not admissible, they still talk about, these people have taken a polygraph, have submitted to a polygraph, and this person's failed it or this person's passed it or whatever. But inconclusive results are completely different than failing it. Whereas if it's coming down to a job of hiring you, they could just choose not to hire you with inconclusive results.
Yeah.
Versus, well, it's inconclusive, so we'll give them the benefit. It's inconclusive, so we're not going to give this man a security clearance. So, yeah, I hate polygraph exams because of my bad experience with them, because I know, and that's the thing that I don't get. There's 2 big problems with the polygraphs that I see. Is one, the last question that they ask you is, have you answered everything truthfully? And if you're telling me that answering everything truthfully, my answer to that was accurate. Like, there was no sensitivity around me saying I answered truthfully. Isn't that already
Right?
a
Isn't that like all? That's it. To wrap it up.
Yeah, it's already a discrepancy if you're trying to tell me I lied to you about these other questions, but then you're saying I told the truth when I said I answered truthfully.
Yeah.
And the other thing about the polygraphs that I completely disagree with, I can't remember.
What do you mean you can't remember?
I literally just can't remember. I had the two major points about them. That was about the polygraph itself. The other one was about the whole that was about the one set of polygraph questions. The other one, it's because I've taken 7 of them. Granted, they were at different points in my life, but let's even take it to the first 3 that I took in a 6-month span. I answered the questions the exact same. I didn't change my story that I told them about the things I had done in my past, because I hadn't done anything in that 6 months to like bring anything up there. The answers were the same, and one of them I passed, and the other 2 I failed.
Right. And
so
I'm sure
that's
that
something
happens
to
all
me
the
that
time.
I'm just like, what else do you need to show how inconclusive or unpredictable these things can be?
And I'm sure you're not the first person that's happened to. I'm sure that happens all the time.
Oh, guarantee it happens all the time. It just made it hard because I actually, especially having had worked for the CIA before, when I left, finished school back at home, I took a co-op job back at my home state to finish up my last couple semesters of school. And then when I graduated, then I was ready to like move out. Got back in contact with an old boss who was like, yeah, I'd love to get you back in here. Let's put up a recommendation. Like made a job opening for me. And then you start like the normal process again. I was 99% sure I was getting the job. I actually, when I went through those 2 polygraphs as well, I think I might have passed my last polygraph on that one as well, but I failed on the quote unquote the psych exam. But the psych exam is not just like your psychiatric, your mental state. It's about like other things that you've done in their life. And one of the things I did during my psych exam is they start talking to you about other crimes and things like that as well. And I openly admitted at the time that I pirated software. I openly admitted that when I was a co-op student, and I openly admitted it again when I was getting the job. And one of the reasonings they said for not was because I failed my quote unquote psych profile because there was crimes that I was admitting to doing that they thought I would have learned my lesson from. Was one of the things. And I'll be honest, I don't pirate software, but I did back then. I was on the whole. There used to be the thing called the poor college student thought process. Like I can afford it, so it's okay to steal it. It's not really okay, but a lot of places, even a lot of schools and stuff, understand because they force you to have the software, and everybody can't afford to necessarily have the software.
Right.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that was the.
I think a lot of the software that I now own, I probably would not have ended up buying had I not pirated it in my past and got comfortable.
It was like a trial phase.
Right, yeah. I tried it out, and it worked out real good. And now, you get to a point where you have the money and you don't need to deal with the bullshit that comes with pirating software, and so you just buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the industry has gone a really good way, good and bad. There's good and bad to it, but in combating piracy, is a lot of places are making things the subscription plans now,
right.
Which, as much as I dislike a lot of types of subscription plans, but when you're dealing with software bundles that otherwise cost $600,
yeah,
but they've now made it like $20 a month, it's a lot more manageable for a lot of people to be like $20 a month for this thing, and I can have it. Use it how I need to use it, probably end up paying more than $600 over the lifetime, but it doesn't feel like such a big hit. And there's no way to theoretically pirate that software either because it's like cloud based.
Right. Oh, I've definitely given Adobe more money over time than I would have if I had just bought Photoshop. But the thing with the Creative Cloud is it's not just Photoshop, it's every product they make in the cloud. Not that I use all of them, but
you have access to all of them.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's a really good thing that the industry I think they went there for other reasons, but it really helped combat, or they went there to combat piracy as part of it, but I think it helped in other ways. I think it probably gets them to sell more product
Yeah,
because it makes it more accessible to people.
So wheat is selling really high right now at the old Mapleville Mills.
They're your favorite place.
I filled up the tractor for you if you'd like to take it.
And that's not what's really high.
Sorry, what?
What's really high?
Almost 1,000. Well, 900. I was gonna say almost 1,000, but that'd been a lie. It's 900.
That's decent. Let me get this guy.
Yeah, for wheat, that's pretty good. Or barley, whatever that one is.
Just the picture. That's all we know it as, the picture.
Yeah. The rattlesnake. I'll run over to the sheep real quick and see if I can do anything for him. Actually, probably need to take the tractor that has the mower on the front over there.
But I take it you've never had to take a polygraph, huh?
I haven't. I've never had a polygraph test. I've never worked for a government agency, though. So...
You've never been convicted of any crimes that requires you to take a polygraph for?
No. I mean, I've been convicted of... Well, actually, I don't think I've ever been convicted of any crimes. I've had to hire attorneys. And not be convicted of crimes. I've committed crimes.
But not the ones you were convicted of.
I was. That's why I wasn't convicted. I had a good lawyer.
That's a good way to do it. Maybe the lawyer just said, hey, take a polygraph. I believe
Well, it wasn't like, we went in and lied. Same with, in my experience with, traffic tickets. I guess, actually, those were pretty much bullshit. We just pretty much lied with traffic tickets now I think about it. Every traffic ticket I think I've ever had, as far as, speeding, they just get it off on faulty equipment.
Okay, something that's a non-moving violation. Higher fine, but doesn't add points to your license?
No, it was like they test every time. I always had to take my car somewhere and do a speed test, and they do a speed test on my vehicle, and then it's off by like my odometer or speedometer, not odometer. Speedometer's off by 1 mile an hour or something like that. It says I'm going 55, but according to the equipment, I'm only going 54 or whatever. And so every speeding ticket I've ever had, it's been gotten off like that, where the whole thing just gets dropped.
Wait, that's an option that you have, is to go test your equipment, and if it's faulty, it's... Wait, your equipment or their radar gun?
No, my equipment.
See, in the state of Michigan or in the state of DC, that would be my fault for not checking my equipment properly.
I mean, yeah, what you're saying makes total sense to me. I mean, I haven't had a speeding ticket since I was a teenager at this point, but I guess at this point it's not necessary for that sentence. But I haven't had a speeding since I was a teenager. But yeah, I was a terrible driver, and so I used to speed all the time and whatnot. And yeah, I had one that really I should have been thrown in prison. I let my my tags expire, and I was speeding in a school zone. I was going I don't even know, 30 miles over the speed limit in the school zone with expired tags. I can't remember if I had insurance on my car at that time too. I think my insurance had also lapsed. So basically a poor guy. I think I was 17, and my lawyer made it all go away. That one he continued for almost a year, and then eventually I don't know what actually happened in court. I just know it went away.
I'm impressed that it just went away.
Yeah. The problem with those sort of things is you don't learn any lessons from that. I didn't learn that don't speed in a school zone. Luckily, I've eventually self-disciplined and just stopped driving.
I'll tell you, I let a buddy of mine out here borrow my Explorer because he needed to move some furniture. And the way I have my stuff set up out here, I get email alerts if I get a ticket on my license plate. And a ticket came on my license plate, it's a parking ticket. DC's big for you park in the wrong zone for too long, or the sign is too confusing. You know, there's constantly parking
Yeah.
things out in this area.
I
which are fucking
can imagine. I've
shit.
seen those signs, and it's like, what is this saying to me right now?
I saw that it was like a $45 ticket for parking in a zone like for more than like 2 hours, whatever it was. And I texted him. I was like, "Hey, it looks like you got a ticket on the car. Go make sure you like move it." And he was like, "Oh yeah, so I owe you $45. You know, I parked in this place that I guess it wasn't supposed to be." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get a temporary tag for it," because he lives in a different zone than what I have parking permits for, because there's 6 different zones in DC that you can park in based on what your address is. And like an hour later, he texts me back and he goes, "Well, shit, I owe you 90 now because I didn't move it fast enough, I guess." They doubled up the ticket.
Can they do that?
I guess so, because they did.
Jesus Christ.
So, I don't know. I just dropped another ticket onto it and he's like, "I owe you 90 now." And the funny thing is, I let him borrow it so that he didn't have to rent a U-Haul, which he
It would have been a
might as well
lot
just
cheaper.
like,
That's funny. There's more wheats back at the place too, by the way.
wait, what? I just went and got it.
No, I meant. Oh, did you get all of it?
Yeah, I just went and emptied it. Did
Oh,
you put
okay.
more in?
Okay. No, there's not more. Than
Yeah, I just went and got the other 10 grand so I could go, because the train holds a lot more, so
right.
just sell it all at once.
What happens if I hit this with the tractor?
I don't know, let's find out.
Oh, it definitely like turned me.
Did it? Can you derail?
I wonder what would happen if I was on the rails when you came through.
I mean, I'll be coming back here momentarily after I drop this off.
Yeah, let's find out.
I'll come back in reverse at full-fledged miles an hour.
Full-fledged.
Full-fledged. I don't know how fast it goes, so I just
I know.
throttle wide open in reverse. I somehow have run out of storage on my Google Drive. My computer just decided to tell me.
Huh. Do you pay
Not
for extra
sure.
storage on your Google Drive?
Nope.
I do. It's not very expensive.
Nope. I don't pay for any extra. I try to keep like limit what's there. I put some like, oh, my phone might be uploading. I do have my phone like hooked up to it to where it like automatically backs up my photos and videos and things like that on there. And I just this weekend took some videos of my next beer brewing session, which is actually a hard cider brewing, but videos are done on my phone, so I have a feeling that they just probably uploaded it.
Yeah, that's why I have to add the 100 gigs, is because I upload all my stuff for a video, all my streams.
Oh yeah, you put them up to Google Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming to reverse, full-fledged.
Hold on, let me get down there.
Looking for your icon. I don't see it.
Almost there. Okay, I'm on the track.
Okay, I'm coming. And
Holy shit! Oh my god!
the train didn't feel it, I'll tell you that. I didn't feel nothing. I just watched you go flying.
Oh, that's great.
That was pretty amazing. And it still runs.
Right, if this game had damage to vehicles, it's done.
That was quite entertaining, actually. Much more entertaining than I expected that to be.
Oh, I didn't realize you brought the grass over here. A whole shitload of grass.
Hold on.
What?
Please hold. I think I've stopped my... I think it told me my Google Drive was full because my other hard drive filled up as well.
Oh, Jesus. What's the chances of that?
I don't know. I have a feeling it was telling me my other hard drive filled up, not that Google Drive was actually filled up, but it said Google Drive was filled up. I don't know. I don't quite get it. I just gotta delete an old video here real quick.
That's terrible, because we just did the best thing that's ever happened in this game.
I know, and I think I missed it. I think I missed it. I hope I got all these done. Oh, yeah, I definitely have all these ones done. And gone.
We can recreate it.
I have space again.
Welcome back, Jeff.
Damn it.
Well, we should recreate that, because that was fun.
It was fun. Let me. I want to do it in forward this time too.
All right.
Because I was doing it in reverse last time. So Guude's gonna get this twice. I think my video is only gonna have it once because I ran out of space. But he definitely said Guude flying. Oh, we should put the semi truck on there.
All right. Oh, this water tank is empty. It's fucking for shame. All right.
Those sheep drink a lot of water.
They do.
I mean, what happens if we put the semi truck in a way that it's gonna get like completely stuck? Like if I put it here, it's not. It can't go anywhere. This is like the suicide mission at the end of the game. Is it this one?
I want to come sit in it.
The other one. Are you ready?
Let me tab over there. All right, I'm in here.
Okay, I was trying to get some running room to make sure I get to that full fledge. I mean, do you think you can derail this train if you do it right?
I don't think so. I wonder what's going to happen. This is going to break the physics of this game.
We can't be the first people that have tried it. Okay, he's at full throttle.
It sent me through the beam.
Well, we know what happens now. Nothing terrible.
Go up there, where you've got more room. Get a bunch more room again.
Okay, you go.
Oh wait, hold
you
on.
want to do it again?
I was gonna say like where. Let me get off the track, and then where it's like straight. In fact, I'm gonna drop off the back end of this real quick.
You're just gonna take the front end?
Yeah.
Which side's it all straight by? Are you talking?
Like go back to where you just were, like the starting position again.
Okay.
I'm gonna like before, like the tractor was sideways and it just kind of flew. I'm gonna get here. Where you hit me basically just dead on. Let's see what happens.
I like how this train goes just as fast in reverse as it does forward. I guess that's how locomotives are supposed to work, though, right?
I think so.
In a front and rear like pull.
All right, I'm in position.
Okay, I gotta slow down now from my full reverse. This lake is beautiful. Never really taken the time to admire it.
This lake is beautiful.
Wait, I gotta add some realism to this. Hold on.
You can blow the horn.
Yep. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
What is the horn button? Oh,
Zero.
I'll blow mine too.
Get off the track! That was just like a love tap.
Yeah. No, the tractor definitely went flying more. I guess maybe it's weight based.
Yeah, I guess it could be. Still entertaining. I think, man, I kind of am sad I missed the tractor one because I think that was so much cooler because it was so unexpected.
Yeah, I didn't expect to go flying like that for sure.
We gotta plant one more field here.
Gotta go fill the water tank up for these stupid sheep.
So everything's fertilized already? I think it is.
I don't know. No, I don't think so because I had to use the fertilizer because I went with the front loader, or the tractor the fertilizer was on. Yeah, no, this foot up here is definitely not fertilized, which means the second one planted isn't either.
Yeah, this one's not. Yeah, this one's not even.
I did fertilize the grass though.
Oh, the big field. No, the grass should be fertilized, and the big field, at least on the top, are fertilized.
Yeah, part of it is. It's half fertilized, basically.
Yeah, so that's guys going.
Well, I guess we could probably end it here. We've
Or
we've covered your polygraph story. You blown up the tractor.
we got almost 1.1 million.
Yeah. Next time we'll buy a windmill and we'll watch it spin.
We will be there. All right, guys. See you next time.